The sad truth is what you avoid controls you. If you're avoiding it, it's controlling your life. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but it is. Pull the Band-Aid off, just go address it, and you will have instant relief once you know the truth.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by Unlocking Greatness with Jacob Emery, a coaching community built for those ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Weekly calls, proven playbooks, and a community built to grow. Greatness is not given, it's unlocked. Join us today at jacobemery.com or DM coach at jacobemery44 on all social media platforms.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Today I want to talk a little bit more about communication, but not so much about actually communicating, but what I see to be a bigger issue, the lack of communication. But particularly whenever assumptions are made. Whenever we assume something to be true, but it's not, or we don't know, but we take something that could be or it could not be true, and then we make it our own truth without speaking on it. Confronting assumptions. It seems like such an easy thing, but how often are you willing to actually confront something that is bothering you, that you're assuming may or may not be true, but you don't know? You think it is, you're positive it is. You're telling yourself this story. It's the story that you're telling yourself as a reality, but it's not based on facts, it's based on feelings. The narrative in your head is created, but it's all created. You don't know if it's really true or not. And it can lead from a thought to a spiral, and then quickly you have a tornado going around in your head. You don't know what's up, you don't know what's down, you just don't know what's going on. The point is pretty clear. Why create problems without addressing what is the perceived problem? But why create it, make it bigger? All that we do by thinking on it or thinking about it and not addressing it is making the thing bigger and worse. And I promise you that there is no assumption that's normally going to be for the good. It's normally for the bad. And majority of the time what we end up finding out is whatever we thought was true isn't. But it's not because of anything else outside of this one fact maybe. People are not really thinking about us that much. We're more than likely not thought about nearly as much as what we believe to be true. People have their own shit to deal with. They're busy. They have their own life. They have their own stuff going on. So if you're assuming that someone's doing this stuff to manipulate you or to think about you in a negative way or to try to hurt you, reality might be they're not even thinking about it. They're doing it for another reason. And you believe it's about yourself. So you're predicting this thing. It's an interpretation out of this conversation that you take it. Maybe you listen to what they say and then you twist it to fit your narrative. But why? Why does that happen? Normally, we believe that people are out to get us. We have more negative thoughts than positive thoughts. A lot of time, though, it's not the case. Sometimes just conflict is such an issue. It's so misunderstood that people don't know how to present conflict well. You can present something in a way that is for the greater good, that is to resolve a concern. That doesn't have to be a confrontation. It doesn't have to be a fight. But the person hearing it also has to be able to receive it that way. So the person presenting it has to present it in a way that it can be received. And then the person receiving it has to also be open to understanding it without reservation. So how you react out of a thought that you've created can definitely change how you treat somebody or how you make decisions with your emotion and not your logic. I've had a lot of people come to me before and assume one thing to be true. Why am I not getting a raise? Why am I not getting this or getting that opportunity? You said I would do this, that I would get this. And then if you just break it back to facts, I said if you did X, you would get Y. But you didn't do X and you're not getting Y. So what is the problem? Whenever presenting a conflict or a possible conflict to someone, think about the discrepancy in what should have been done based on what you agreed on or what was talked about and what actually happened. So if Joe shows up late for 3 days out of the week, you go into Friday and say, you know what, Joe, let's have you show up early, 5 minutes early, or on time for 5 days straight. Just be here when you're supposed to be here. Don't be late. Don't be insubordinate. That's all I'm asking you. Just be there when you're supposed to for 5 days. Let's see what's possible. So you're not addressing, Joe, why the hell are you late? You never show up on time. You're not attacking the person. You're attacking the discrepancy that the person had action on and didn't follow through with. So that person doesn't do what they're supposed to do. Address what that thing was, not the person. It will take away the personal attack or that feel of a personal attack. So it takes away the backfire or the backlash that someone may give you because they feel like they're under attack. They're under a microscope. In reality, you're just addressing what's true, what's agreed on, and what should already be established as a done, but it wasn't. And if it's not done again, you can go two ways. You can either think something's going on, maybe personally, so let's address that. Hey, Joe, you said you'd be here all 5 days. You weren't here 2 of the days. You showed up 20 minutes late 2 days. What's going on, dude? Joe then puts his guard down to be vulnerable and say, hey, I had this thing come up. I have this thing come up. Or you have me going to this job site that's an hour and a half away. Or this job site, hour and a half away. Your scheduling has made it really inconvenient for me to get there on time. Whatever it may be. The truth will come out in a respectable and manner that will be better for resolving the problem, not for resentment, resilience, and being right, double down on the already big issue becoming bigger. So having that clarity of what the actual discrepancy is and addressing it as so helps a bunch. Set the environment to be open and honest. Watch how it happens. This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com. I've avoided conversations myself where I built this narrative up, I built this thing up, and really I was the problem, but I created this case against everyone else when the bottleneck was me. And I was addressing the bottleneck being me through the lens of my defense. I doubled down on my own pride and my own ego and defended myself before even acknowledgement of a problem was brought to me. That's where I learned this from. Most of the time, deep down, we know the truth, but we don't want to always believe the truth. We don't want to always see the thing that we're doing wrong and acknowledge it. When you can get to a place where you are actually saying, I did this wrong, and here's why I'm addressing it now so you don't do this wrong. You show that you screw up too as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader of any sort. I screwed up. Here's what I learned, and here's why I want to help you. There's a point to my story. There's a story I'm going to tell you, and there's a lesson learned. It's a pretty powerful thought because you're showcasing the vulnerability to say, I screwed up and I don't want you to screw up. And that is leadership. Most people, though, will avoid the whole conversation. They assume. And you know what they say about assuming? You make an ass out of you and me. And it's always been a joke. It's a laughing thing. You know, yeah, you make an ass out of you and me. But what actually does happen? You do make an ass out of yourself because you create the story. You're the only character, but you're pulling in other people to be a part of it. And normally you're wrong. The one thing that kills this anxiety or this fear, this thing that sets in, the way that you create, the one thing that kills its action. You want to avoid the conversation. You're going to accelerate more anxiety. You're going to make the anxiety worse. You avoid it, accelerate it. You want to get rid of anxiety. You want it to be gone. You just take action and address what it is for what it is. Either way, you know. But don't just sit around and assume that you know what it is and then have the anxiety follow suit, because it will, and it will get bigger. So present something. Help me understand. The story I'm telling myself in my head is this. This is what I'm seeing. Tell me if I'm off guard here. You say, I see this, but I could be completely wrong. So what is it that I'm actually seeing? Is this accurate? Is this true? Did this actually occur? You question out of curiosity, not question out of confrontation, conflict. You're not questioning the person. You're questioning the scenario. Your goal is data, not validation. Don't validate the story that you're telling yourself. Get what's real. Find out the truth. So here's what it comes down to. The story in your head is costing you. The story you tell yourself is probably wrong. If you have someone in your life or there's any scenario in your life that you're just not addressing, the sad truth is what you avoid controls you. If you're avoiding the thing, the conversation, the person, whatever it is, if you're avoiding it, it's controlling your life. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but it is, I promise you. I've had this happen too many times not to be outspoken about it. You have a problem or a thought, you address it, it's gone. But there's this long period of suffering in between that. You choose the distance. Is the suffering catastrophic, really hard? Is it really long time? Or do you address the thing right off the rib, pull the Band-Aid off, nip it in the ass, and be done with it, move forward? So just think about it. What's the one conversation that you're not having? What is the one thing that you're avoiding? What is your ego or your pride or the fear just not wanting to address it? What is the one thing that you're not doing that you know you should do? And address it. Pull the Band-Aid off, just go address it, and you will have instant relief once you know the truth. At the end of the day, regardless if you're right or you're wrong, being right is only confirmed by addressing it. So is being wrong. No matter what it is, no matter what the truth is, not knowing is the only wrong answer. Leaders don't do things based on assumption. We don't make business decisions based on emotion or assumptions. And if we do, we don't have business very long. Get what's real. What are the truths about this thing? Not what's traditional thought. What is the actual evidence that we're looking for? Not what our emotion says. Find out the facts and let your feelings go to the side. Look at it from a court of law. What is the court of law when you're on the stand on Judgment Day? That is what you need to think about. What is real? What is not reality? What is fact? Think about the facts, and next time just don't be irrational. Address it quickly, but put yourself in a third-party seat. Sit over in the corner and say, hey, I'm going to address this as if I have no bias to it. Get what's real, and then make it a reality, whatever it is. So just don't sit around and get more anxiety about it because of not addressing it. Conflict is part of communication. Without conflict, there is no communication. If you're only communicating and you're getting agreements on everything, you're communicating to the wrong people. Confront your assumptions and don't make it out of you or me.
Stop telling yourself one day. It isn't about one day, it's about day one. Today should be your day one. What you need isn't another day. What you need is clarity with the community to give you confidence to unlock your greatness. That's what the group coaching program is all about. Confidence, clarity, via commitment. Hit the show link in the notes. Let's start unlocking your greatness now, today.